guys, welcome back. It's been a long time since I've made a video. I do apologize, but we're going to take a fresh start. We're going to build solid wooden doors using Poplar that's rough cut directly from a sawmill about 16 months ago. So let's get this process started, and I will give you guys all the specs, the measurements, and the drawing of the door during the video. This is all the poplar that we're going to be using. Now, you don't need this much to make one door, but since I am making 5 doors, I will need this whole pile, and I will also need that pile. Now these are cut into 10" by 2" by 9.5 feet. These are all the same. This one's a little bit shorter on the top, but all the ones on the bottom are 9 feet long. And I'm 90% positive they were 10 inches wide, but let's check that. Alright, they're 9 3/4 wide. And this one on the bottom are all 10" wide. And let's see if they are 9 feet. So they are actually 8 feet 4 inches. And the one on the top is 7 feet 6 inches. But since we only need 80 inches, that'll work for us. And we only need 5 inches across, that'll also work. And all the leftovers, which we will have about 4.5 inches, we use that to build door frames, so there won't be much waste out of this wood. So let's get started. taking all your space. Jimmy, Dodo. Okay. Adorable. Can you say hi to everybody? Huh? Can you say hi? Get that dust out of your eyes. We gotta get you some earmuffs. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Oh, yes. All right, go on your blanket. Go on. This is flush. We'll go ahead and find it again. Alright, so what we have to do right now is the layout. And to get the layout, take a tape measure, come in from the end of the stile, and go to 2 11/16. This one was an old mark, so we'll just erase that one. It's all going to be sanded again anyway. Two 11/16. So just mark all the way around the board. So now what we want to do is come off in the middle and go 3/8 of an inch, which on 1 3/8 minus a half equals 3/8 on both sides. That's going to be your middle cut, which is going to be very necessary for the tongues. Now what we're going to do is take another square, come up on the top at a 1/2 inch, starting from the line of 2 11/16, and mark that off as 1 inch. Now we're going to reduce that line. This just makes it really easy. So all we need is a 1/2 inch off of that. It just makes it easy to go ahead and just use the square, and we know that that all has to be cut out. Same on this side. We'll do the same thing. I guess you could measure a 1/2 inch and, you know, do everything that way, but this makes it so much easier to go ahead and do it. Don't draw the line all the way across like I just did. You only want to draw the line in the box, just like this. You just want to draw the line in the box right there and right there. Don't go all the way across. Sometimes I rush so fast and I just forget not to do things. Going to be my top piece, so this one's going to be my bottom piece. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this on this side. Just let me make sure that I'm correct. Pretty sure that I am. It's always good to double check. right now is go ahead and make the grooves in the panels. And the way we're going to use that, the way we're going to do that is with a router, a track, and a star bit. And that'll put a groove right up the panel on the seam line. So make sure when you glue it, it's glued really good because you don't want it to snap. So let's go ahead and put this. this. This is how much sanded. Look at that. It's like flour. So, and that's just in the hose itself. Hope you guys can see that. So that's amazing. I know what you guys are thinking. It's not. But that's poplar dust. Poplar dust. Just amazing, man. So make sure you wear your PPE. Very important, especially when you're sanding. It gets in your lungs. You see the way it's pounded up and stuck together. Imagine that, especially with sawdust. So please, wear your PPE. Wear your mask. You're gonna be sanded, wear the mask. When you cut it, wear the mask with the goggles. Please, just wear the right protective gear. Good job. Alright, let's get doing the frame. basically how it's done. Plans off the sheet, and you guys can make the same thing that I've made. You don't need to have the shop that I have to make this door. There's quite a few ways you can do it. With the router to make the mortise, and the tenons you can use a table saw, and that's really about it. So it's not installed yet because I'm not finished with the rooms or the sheetrock or anything. This will be going in my son's room. I made 5 of them, and I just don't have any room to put 5 doors in the shop. I know it looks big, but it's really not a very big shop considering the tools that's in here. But